I'm about to show you something really pretty small, but absolutely crazy when you take into context how I'm doing it. So look at the order of these queries right here. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to change this singular line of TMDL right here and hit apply, and look how the order switches. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can use little tips and tricks like that to save you time, or at least make it look like you really know what you're doing. And that's because today we're talking about TMDL, but not like the big complex modeling stuff, rather the little hidden secrets and Easter eggs that you can figure out if you take a closer look at what's going on behind the scenes. And don't worry, if you don't know what TMDL is, we're going to cover that. We're going to be answering the question, what is TMDL? So without further ado, I have to introduce myself. My name's Ned. I'm a Microsoft MVP with a focus on Power BI. And if you're interested in business intelligence, do me a favor, go on over, give this video a thumbs up, and then hit the subscribe button. Now, today we're going to be talking about TMDL. TMDL stands for Tabular Model Definition Language. And you might not believe this, but it's actually been generally available for almost 2 years now, August of 2024. Now, one of the reasons why I'm making this video is because there's a lot of videos out and about on like, oh, wow, here's what it can do. But there's not a lot of videos on like how it can actually be integrated into your workflow to save you time. And if you ask an AI for help, the AIs will often hallucinate the old JSON-based TMZL syntax, right? You like how I pronounce that, which won't work in the TMDL editor. Luckily for us, that's where today's sponsor can help, Kui. Now, let me show you a quick demo. So here I am asking ChatGPT what the TMDL code I just showed you does. What Kui helps you do is it helps you use AI with more confidence. So what you'll see is that ChatGPT has absolutely no idea what this line of TMDL does. But let's activate Kui by clicking this button right here and then selecting from over 30 different leading AI models without having to pay multiple subscriptions. So here I am selecting GPT-5, another model from OpenAI, Grok, and Gemini. Now, as you might have noticed, Kui works directly inside ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and other leading AI tools as a lightweight Chrome extension. You can ask Chat just like normal, and it will quietly cross-check answers in the background. One of the advantages is that you can compare all the different AI answers before trusting an answer from a single model. As you can see right here, Gemini actually successfully identifies that this is an annotation and gives us the correct format in TMDL for how to use it. If I had just been using ChatGPT, I would have been stuck with an incorrect answer. So if you use AI like me for real work, check out Kui in the Chrome Web Store, where you can install it completely for free, either via the link down below in the video description or the link that's up on the video right now. Once you have it installed, when you're using your favorite AI tool, you'll now have some new fancy Kui buttons. You can activate the Kui sidebar by clicking this one right here, selecting some models to compare, at which point you can then access a limited subset of features. However, you can unlock all features by signing up for a free account by clicking the sign up button. Then once you're signed up, you can go down right here to the gear icon, at which point you can view their subscription levels, where they have a generous free tier and a pro tier that allows for 500 comparisons per month. Luckily for you, we have a special offer. If you enter the promo code DROP90, you'll get 90 free days of the Pro plan without a credit card required, which is a great deal. So if you're interested in trying some of the new fancy AI models, check out Kui, linked down below. Now, without further ado, let's start learning about TMDL. Like with a lot of these videos, we're going to start from the very beginning on Microsoft's website, reviewing their documentation. And the first thing we're going to answer is, what is TMDL? TMDL is essentially the scripting language behind semantic models, right? It used to be called TMZL, and now we are using TMDL. The main advantage of TMDL, when you actually kind of look at it, is that it's human readable and it's easy to understand. So everything is done with indents, very similar to Python. And things are pretty straightforward. You've got comments, you have annotations, and if you're in Microsoft Power BI Desktop, which we are going to be, you have something called TMDL view, which you can get over here on the side by simply clicking this TMDL button. And if you don't have it, you might need to enable it by going over here into File, Options and Settings, and then turning it on. Although I think at this point, it is turned on by default in Microsoft Power BI, although I could be wrong. You can get a semantic model objects TMDL script by simply selecting one of the objects and then dragging it over onto the TMDL screen. So for example, if I wanted to understand this relationship, if I drag it on over right over here, it will generate the TMDL. So for example, here is a relationship that I dragged on over. And as you can see, I now have a from column and a to column. And I have this create or replace button up here, which means if I were to edit it and then hit apply, it would actually make the changes in the semantic model. One really, really easy, really quick thing that I often use it for is you can actually see the M code in TMDL view. So like, for example, here is the M code. So if I really need to quickly just do a quick find and replace and for a table name that's changing, I'll drag over the whole model and I'll just go ahead and hit H or Control F and then go down here and just do a quick find and replace, which is really great. The other thing that it also allows you to do is hit this little preview button. So it will show you what actually changed. So for example, if I change this to golds and then hit preview right here, as you can see, it'll actually flag the deltas between what I changed versus the current semantic model. So as you can see right here, in my new version, I added an S. So that is TMDL view. But the highlight or the excitement that I have for this video has to do with something that I noticed a few weeks ago. And that is, what I noticed was that as I was hitting a new line and then starting to type, autocomplete was kicking on or IntelliSense was kicking on. And I had really not paid that much attention to this feature before. But I did think like, wow, there's a lot that I actually don't know that's popping up here that I can set. And it would be really nice to know what all of these things are and what they actually do. Now, Microsoft has documented all of these. If you actually go into the namespace Microsoft Analysis Services Tabular and then look at all of the various properties, but that felt way too boring to me. So I went and I let my little friend Copilot into the Microsoft Power BI application folder, and I told it to go find the schema where Power BI was sourcing that IntelliSense data. And lo and behold, it found it. It's in this Mana CoWeb workers, timdil.workers.js, and the English schema is in this module right here, this 2019. So you can go ahead and you can parse this JSON and you can rip out some interesting stuff. However, all of this all exists in the Microsoft Analysis Services tabular namespace. So, you probably could just read the documentation and get the exact same information. However, that did bring my attention to some really interesting TMDL things that I wasn't aware of. And some of you might be aware of some of these because they were available in things like Tabular Editor long before they were available in TMDL. But for example, if you have a given measure, you can set a detail rows definition, which is some DAX that will be evaluated when you're in Excel connecting to the semantic model and you right click and you go drill through, which is really cool. The other thing that you can also do is you can, if you have a relationship, set a join on date behavior. Now, what's really cool about this is that you can set it to date part only. And if one of the columns has a date time instead of just a date, it will effectively ignore that in the relationship, which in turn should make your semantic model a lot more efficient. So that is really pretty neat. However, the next thing that I started to notice was that scattered throughout kind of some of this TMDL are these things called annotations. Now, an annotation in TMDL can be pretty much anything you want for any reason. So for example, if you're trying to run a custom script against a Power BI semantic model, you can create an annotation for your documentation, right? Or for your custom script. So if I go here and I go annotation and I go documentation link, I can make this equal to www.ned.com and I can save this. And then anytime one of my scripts or an AI bot or someone was parsing my TMDL, it could start to process some of these annotations. So by the way, hint, hint, if you are using Power BI, like agentic development, this is something that you could start to do to influence the way the AI agent was actually interacting with your Power BI model. I haven't done it, but in theory you could. However, as you might have noticed, there's things throughout here that begin with Power BI underscore. Now, these are annotations that Power BI actually creates that control functionality in the Power BI application, which is really pretty neat. So that was the one that I showed you kind of in the first section of this video, where if you go down to the very bottom, I was actually editing the order of these queries and how they appear in Power BI. But if you notice, there's also some other interesting ones. So for example, time intelligence right here, which we can go through and let's reset this TMDL, like time intelligence. So for example, that I could go through and I could set this equal to 0, right, and hit apply, and then it will disable time intelligence, or for example, re-enable time intelligence by setting this to 1, which is really neat. Or there's other things I can also do where, like, for example, if I go and I pull over my dim date table over here and go down to my actual date column, I can set the underlying data type away from date to date time and hit apply. And then when I go and I look at this same table right here in table view, and I go and I select my date, if I click this, you'll notice everything now has time, versus if I go back over here, and I set this just back to date and then hit apply right here, what you'll notice is that now when I go back over here to format, right, I no longer have all of those different time options. I don't actually think this changes anything in the semantic model, but I do find this kind of modification of the Power BI application's behavior through simple changes in the TMDL code really, really, really fascinating. Although you do probably want to be a little careful when doing that, which then finally brings me to my final quick tip to save you time, which is that you can very easily discourage implicit measures with a simple setting. So either setting this to false right here, or going ahead and setting this equal to true right here. And as you can see over here, the implicit measures no longer appear. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it got you excited about TMDL, and I hope you learned something fancy that could at least save you just a little bit of time. If you didn't, let me know down in the comments. And if you did, give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next one.